for you to an interview in a recorded conversation.
Correct. Maybe so. Maybe so.
No, because so not for free win, but because
we have lost it. We have lost it because of our corruption, nepotism, favoritism,
worse than La Republic.
Putting our private interests above our national Ambazonian interests. Guess what? This revolution needs a reset button. And for President reset button, all man, we don't declare yourself president, governments. I am the government of Ambazonia. I am the president of Ambazonia. All we're on a back down. On a reset to the era of Mag Barata and Tapang when only activists that rule the revolution. But guess what? It will never even happen, because when you don't put your interest so much into something where you benefit from wrongfully, it'll be hard to back down. Let me tell you, Capo, I regret, and I'll tell you, I still regret why we transition into Ambazonia without ripening ourselves, preparing ourselves through a two-state federal system of government where we forfeit benefit by being in charge of the government. That means a president from anglophone or Ambazonia, and be in charge of the defense and diplomatic affairs. If you hold the government under a two-state federal system, you hold the presidency under a two-state federal system, you hold the military under the two-state federal system, and you hold the diplomatic affairs under the two-state federal system. Trust me, it is easy to declare that I hereby declare that the anglophone regions of Cameroon that has never signed any marital status with the francophone zone has now become independent under my watch as the president of Cameroon. If you do them, it's broken up. And guess what? We get President El Buhari, when they come into Nigeria, they transition their military headquarters to their village, for instance, northern Nigeria. We get presidents them, even like Paul Biya, when transition your military headquarters to Yaoundé and to your village. Why will I, as a president of Cameroon, not be able or be handicapped not to transition my own defense ministry and headquarters to Bamenda? Why? You have the powers as the president to call the shots. What is lacking in Ambazonia are the weapons for us to defend ourselves. What is lacking are the strategies for us to defend ourselves. Guess what, Capo? If we follow Tato Eric blindly, as we don't always castigate, say this criminal. If we follow Tato Eric blindly, as if they lead me towards Sako, oh, now follow Sako, I have a chona oil dealer, I have a chona this. Where will we bury our head right now, after hearing, after knowing, after it has come to fruition that it was all about a scam? Where should we have buried our heads today? Tell me the truth. You see how
people don't even know the thing is that our population, do you even think our population even know this thing?
Like Tato Eric, who has misled millions to be believing in a fake government, like Tato Eric, who has misled millions to be believing that righteous people, there are other people in the revolution, like the Sakos, who are misleading millions. There are also other people in the revolution who are misleading Ambazonians to believing that independence can come through government. If independence can come through government, I bet you I'm out of this revolution. I better join La Republic to Cameroon. There is no independence through government in any revolution. You have to fight for it. You have to recognize that we are all freedom fighters, and we must put our national interest above private interest.
That is the thing that we have a hard time to do, because you have some radical elements.
Illiteracy and pure nonsense for people to consume. Whereas the righteous people who took this revolution from scratch to end were dismissed in the course of the revolution. Look at Capo Daniel. The biggest mistake will ever happen with the revolution, I say, we came close, very close, an inch. In fact, we're already inside to getting federalism, 2 states. Under Bala, Tato, Tapang, Mark, Neba, and all we activists at that time. Trust me, we already got it. Then, La République du Cameroon, with its divide and rule tactics, rolled out politics into it, co-opted people like Atamilan and a couple of those to buy into politics, government in a revolution, and unfortunately, we bought into it. All of these Ambazonians, neocon Ambazonians, they bought into it. And where are we today? Failure. It's a failure. It's a failure. I have written it publicly. It's a failure. If it looks like a failure, it sounds like a failure, it acts like a failure, it quacks like a failure, it is a failure.
Yeah, the thing is that the man on the street wants to just believe that we are going to have independence. So let's do whatever we want as long as it takes. We are going to have independence no matter how many lives we waste. And there are people who are going to be beating the drum. People who are supposed to educate the population. This is how you have to. You cannot have independence by becoming an extremist.
We started this thing. We started this thing with education. There are only 2 ways towards advocacy for change: speaking out and taking action. We started by education, speaking out. We started by talking out. We started by educating the masses, telling them the history, the benefits, how they can be inclusive in the political participatory approach towards self-governance, self-rule. That is how we started it. Tell me one education we can ever educate anybody inside the revolution. Apart from going and chopping hands, apart from going and insulting your way to independence. Capo, name me one person that has never insulted. One. I will give you a medal. One. One person. From me, Tapang, I was a pizza boy. God has extremely blessed me to have my work permit in this country, and I'm making my good money. Clean.
The only person he has not insulted is Pobia now.
The only person he has not insulted is Pobia. Name me one, Kapur. No, let's be honest. I don't care who is listening. Name me one person that has not insulted. One, including women. Momsi V has insulted. Abu Free has insulted.
There is no infighting. No. Please. May I explain something for now? Infighting means would you ever fight because we consider so be brothers and they want to solve that problem. There is fighting on 2 fronts. The ADF is an enemy to the revolution. So it's no longer infighting because we already had. Now, before Washington DC, we'll get infighting. Don't get confused. Now we get an enemy already. We now clean ADF. And then we'll get La République. Those are the 2 power fighting. Because look at from Allah, Sokadef, even Dr. Kwanga don't come for live shoka complain about Ayaba. Before they go to make Magu because it's already bad. It come for live shoka complain about Ayaba Cho, how you don't go attack Sokadef for Mato. We'll not be here, Namia Bika talk. We'll not be here. Red Dragon, they complain for the BLM. You get 50 soldiers, you take 2, 3 for go cause havoc. Let it be clear. We don't get nothing again about cooperation or collaboration with AGC. Now, group of the people. Most of the girls they for AGC now prostitutes them. They need work, they need do nothing. They just move around Maryland and some states of America, they disturb. Now, criminals. So, I need the fear for tell them for their faces. You contribute how much? Every day, I'm a chip to buy. Ask Tapang about Red Dragon to the BLM. Ask Ayaba about money they don't take for asylum for documents before you can't talk. We'll not get nothing about unity. We'll get unity in interim government. Ayabacho and the gang will not need them again for the government. Will not need them because now people the way if you give Ayabacho one space, he will do coup d'etat, he all man for Ambazonia. Ayabacho prefer for day for Ambazonia, he and these few for them to animals and I forget all 8 million people. He doesn't care. So this point don't be made clean and clear. So not tell me about 37 years. 37 years of failure. They say like beer, you see the beer people they know. Beer not there for 30 years. Wait till don't change your Cameroon. And I did say like beer 37 years. I mean, you get some young man, my friend Tapang, me and Tapang are same department, same batch, who graduate for UB for 2008, he not even graduate. Now after we now I beg we can graduate. Yes, the man will be making noise here. Everywhere, like say be some better man. Because Paul they can't talk. Okay, you can't write me, say you set me up, you say my papa na Igbo pro believe. Who will believe you? An immaculate thief, your own teeth shine like white clothes. All man don't say I'm no. So all those things they can't make noise, they go to make noise now because they cry. Say no man is going to contribute for them. I'll be the only activist who don't fight for do all women leaders unite. But don't see and say no way, not the way they not ever unite. So me be clear, not call my phone. I tell somebody yesterday, say for me, my first enemy before the Republic na AGC and ADF. It's very clear.
Mona Jela, he has insulted. Erika Zara, he has insulted. Name me one person, one. He's the founder of insult in the revolution. He made people to think that you can insult your way to independence. You cannot do it. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't.
Knows, and that is the dream of Cameroon, for us to be so radical that nobody can listen to us. To be so radical and so butchery to our own people that we are still like barbarians.
I deny to join that train of radicalism. So I stand not on the side of Cameroon, but I stand on the side of the road and watch you guys make your charade, not parade. Charade.
How can we do, my brother? The thing that people like me, we don't have the violation so that we can be able to attract the international communities, give them something that they can press the hard lines in La Republique. Because right now, Paul Biya is comfortable, you know. Look at what happened to the
Yes, some idiot can just say, Tapang Capo Daniel, because I don't go join La Republique.
I say they for them, now foolishness.
So upon all this, you are not saying, I show you road. I only advise when I listen. I only advise when I say that on a scammer. That on a scammer from day one when I listen. Now 3 years later when as I always talk when Tapang I will talk it when I listen, when I see result after 3 years. I talk about Mark Barretta when I see him today. I talk about Tato when I see him. Everything I've said in this revolution has come to pass. I've always been vindicated. Always. Always.
There is no space to reason, because if somebody don't feel comfortable what you are saying, instead to
guess what? People even feel ashamed. People even feel ashamed to talk about Tato today, because guess what? They buried their hopes in Tato. People feel ashamed to talk about his arrest today because they buried their homes in Tato.
It's a sad thing. Let me tell you what happened in Bamenda, Tapang.
One thing.
Insult them for back now, not be the same people, then they go insult them.
No, I've never seen him publicly insult anybody. I will not say anything.
I'll give you one example. I will not say anything on the record. Let me tell you one thing on the record. When you went out to make certain statement that was against what the AGOFC were doing within the community, you know what Ayabacho told me? Ayabacho told me that Tapang Ivor recorded a phone call with a minister in La Republique du Cameroon who was proposing to bribe him and send it to me. I told Tapang Ivor...
And guess what? It was Marafa Hamidou Yaya. Let me tell you.
No, listen, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened.
Marafa Hamidou Yaya and this other guy will come up Bangwa. How they call this guy? This guy, Paul Tasson. A record I sent up Ayabacho. Yes.
Okay, hear what Ayabacho told me. Ayabacho said that you sent that audio to him to test his flexibility about the subject of receiving bribe. Probably you wanted to let him to see his reaction and know whether he will validate that type of a thing or not.
Wonder shall never end.
I have to go out there and I have to call you out there and blast you in my own way. But the information you gave to him was in confidence. You gave it to him like a brother and somebody, like a leader that you were aligning with him. So Ayabacho does not come out to insult people, but he engineered people to do that. Lucas, who came out and said that I have gone to eat money in La Republique, when I had disagreement with them in Canada, a disagreement that Lucas was standing on my side. Half of the cabinet was standing on my side. We have opportunity to address the root cause. You are rejecting it for no valid reason. They sent him to come and say that they should attack my family. Capo Daniel is La Republique, I have eaten money. So Ayabacho may not insult people, but you have to recognize that there is a level of radicalization that he also has. That if he does not dominate the scene, he is also going to cross that line.
Tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands and millions, you realize they want to form a group who want to revolutionize the revolution. And that is what is happening right now.
So, my fellow country people, that was the conversation with Tapang Capo Daniel. The takeaway is that Ambazonian liberation by war which we have come to adopt after the kidnapping of Seseko Ayok Tabi. This trend that have dominated our struggle, that was led by Abachu, La Republique, get out of our territory. Now we are going to liberate with war. That strategy have failed. It has failed basically because of our own internal dynamic. We can no longer defeat La Republique du Cameroon militarily. Our whole hope was lying on the fact that the international community sympathizes with us. They were calling out Cameroon for war crimes. They were calling out La Republique as a belligerent faction that must come to the table and negotiate with people who were reasonable. Our actions were being seen as an act of self-defense. Initially, that is how we started. It was seen as a people fighting for self-defense, protecting themselves while attacking the enemy and claiming their right of self-determination. That particular strategy can no longer work because the basis that sustained that foundation is no longer there. The international community, whether you blame La Republique intelligence and their own Atanganji boys or whatever, the international communities now have a 360 turnaround. They no longer support us. They are now putting pressure on us. They now see us differently. Our acts of self-defense are not being seen as self-defense anymore because of the radicalization and the bad construct of our strategy. We are on a losing trajectory right now as I speak to you. The only way we can win is to turn the narrative. We can no longer fight as fighting to liberate militarily. Those who were expecting us to win militarily have no plan that is sustainable because the international sympathy we have has gone. We cannot have our independence now. We have missed opportunities and we never miss opportunities to miss opportunities, as I always say. The first one was with Gojidinka, who successfully had a court judgment and renamed our territory Ambazonia. Instead of the elites to come around him, they all, with their internal dynamic, hatred, jealousy, blackmail, push him along the side and continue their way. You have the all anglophone movement that came up. You had the peak with John Frundi. John Frundi could have get into the elections for parliamentary elections and secure people who can fight and defend his political agenda. He failed to do that. And as a result, he was weakened to fight for his power as a president that was elected. The SCNC came up. The SCNC abandoned the argument of Gojidinka, abandoned the SDF, and stood their firm ground. When the time to radicalize came, when the SCLC, led by Dr. Ebenezer Akwanga, the Youth Week, came up to use the arms that they were proposing to use, they tried to kill it. They even labeled it a terrorist group, including Gojidinka, labeled the Sokadef as a terrorist group, which was the first defense forces we have. We have come now with a consortium. We have negotiated. We have failed because La Republique sees this our vulnerability of fighting each other. It is very obvious for anybody who is not within us. We are at this verge now, my people. You have heard Tapang Ivo, you have heard Mark Barata, and you have listened to me very carefully. Ambazonian struggle, as you see in Ground Zero, this lockdown have nailed the coffin. This lockdown have nailed the coffin.